All right, and we are live. Okay, so do we want to just jump into the questions, or what do we want to do first? Oh, did Sam leave?
That's me. Okay. Green.
I can see that you have a share screen thing on, but I can't see your screen yet.
Sharing. Here, man. My. Okay.
Okay, I can share my screen to show it. Can you guys see that? It's mine. Yeah, can you guys see that?
¿La ves? He just joined, I guess.
Yes, I can see it.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see it too.
Okay, these are the questions that we need to answer, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Miguel's got two screens on.
Yes, I just opened in the computer because in the cell phone is pretty small.
Okay,
Sorry.
you're fine. No worries.
Okay.
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 We could go through each question, just comment on it. That's good.
Okay.
Can you guys hear me?
It's really slow. I just barely heard you.
Yes, I'm not hearing anything.
You there, Miguel?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. I'm gonna eject the other one. I guess the one that's your phone.
Okay, just let me plug my headphones.
So it should be on just your computer now, so that'll be easy there.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
You guys?
I hear you at first, Sam, and then it like cuts out.
Still kind of.
Me?
See.
Cool.
Hmm.
I need to close some stuff.
Okay, I'm gonna try this on my
Okay.
phone.
Okay, yes, I can hear you.
Okay, Cameron, are you still there?
No, I think he was closing some screens. I think that accidentally he closed this one.
Ah,
But
ok,
it's still alive, so
ok. Sí, sigue grabando, ¿va?
sí.
Ok. ¿Comenzaron a platicar de algo o todavía no?
No, todavía no.
Ujú. Ah, a ver si regresa. Voy a mandar un mensaje aquí, a ver.
Yeah, yes.
Sorry, ahí está. Ujú. ¿Estás en México, Miguel?
Sí, en la Ciudad de México.
¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo está el clima ya ahorita?
Ah, rico, ahorita ya fresco.
¿Ya? ¿Ya se, ya se bajó el calor?
Sí, porque hace rato sí estuvo el sol bien fuerte. Aunque no es muy extremo, pero sí hacía calor.
Gente.
¿Tú dónde estás?
Yo ahorita estoy acá en Utah,
En
en
Utah,
Provo.
oh,
Bueno, sí,
qué bien.
sí, pero yo soy de Guanajuato, San Miguel de Allende.
¿De veras?
Sí,
Qué padre.
sí, ahí todavía tengo, ahí están mis papás todavía.
Oh, entonces, ¿sueles venir de vez en cuando?
Pues ahí estuve yo me casé, estuve ahí 6 años. Llego aquí desde febrero, me ofrecieron por acá un trabajo y nos venimos, entonces
No, qué padre.
ya llevamos un ratito aquí. A ver, déjalo agrego de una vez.
Sí, gracias.
Ah, caray. Espérame, a ver si lo puedo agregar.
Ahí está.
¿Sí entró?
Okay,
Okay, you there, Cameron?
I'm here.
All right. It seems like we're still recording. It still says
Yes.
live.
Whatever. Let's go with it.
All right.
Thank
So, I was saying we should just go through each question and just kind of all three of us maybe we can just comment on that,
Okay.
and see how that goes, and at the end just kind of give I guess our conclusion and send that out because we still have I don't know what the post discussion quiz or whatever thing. is about, really, but it shouldn't be that bad. We got to do that before 10 a.m. tomorrow.
But yeah, pretty much I'm just gonna submit it tonight.
All right. So first question is, if you don't mind, I'll just go through it. I'll
Yeah.
ask it. It says, what do you think of Osher's process for identifying opportunities and building companies?
For me, the overall process kind of has like a knack for finding like little exploits in industry. Pretty much, he's able to analyze and figure out, okay, this company is successful, or hey, this niche is missing this. Why not bring it into the family kind of a thing? I didn't really see anything about a process that he does. In fact, like he analyzes this, goes off this, or anything, but more of just like he looks into the company and says, this is missing this, and I think I can capital.
Okay. Miguel, what about you?
For me, Osher has a great background, successful projects and businesses, and a great reputation. That for me, in this kind of business, is one of the most important characteristics because sometimes banks and credits don't lend you to people that don't have very good credentials. So I think that he has a great background that make his project very interesting and seriously to consider and very attractive.
Yeah, he definitely has a pretty good resume there with the companies. Starting from a young age, I guess. He started in high school, some sort of a clothing company or something, and then sold it.
Yes,
So-
at a premium price.
Yeah, so selling that at that young age is pretty good. Not everyone does that. Then he did that again in college, and then he did it a couple times after that, which I'm sure that guy's loaded already. He has a lot of money before he started the Dr. John's. So specifically a process for identifying opportunities and building companies. Like you said, Cameron, I don't know if there's a specific one, but he did try to find missing pieces, like in a puzzle, you could say. He would look at specific markets, perhaps, and find things that perhaps were missing, right?
Yes.
And said, hey, this is missing. There's an opportunity there. And then he would go ahead and start his company, which is pretty cool. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yes, actually, it's related to the second question about how does he came up with idea. And I got that all his knowledge and previous experience made him make this relationship between different markets and include different products or different technology in unique product, as for example the candies that were something very common, but he introduced technology and he got a great product that became a great success.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think part of the like he's always been an entrepreneur even from when he was young age, kind of like Samuel. He pretty much started a business young. In high school, he had a business, sold it off. Then he had one in college, sold that, continued, so on and so forth. And it was kind of interesting to read to it that he comes up with ideas out of restlessness. Like, there were a couple of times where it said like he'd go out and he'd be like he already sold the company and he had a lot of money, but he just wanted to get back into the business. He wanted to talk with people and everything. And so he would go back and pretty much create a new product or a new company or something like that, just to kind of get it back in the game of it.
Yeah, that's pretty true. It seems like you know how people sometimes say, "Are you born an entrepreneur or do you become an entrepreneur?" It's a tough question, but it seems like this guy, we could say, was was already, he had it in his DNA, because he's sitting in a lot of money. He's created a lot of companies. He's done it all his life, and then he's kind of just sitting there in his house, and all of a sudden his mind just starts going again. Like he's always processing, always looking for opportunities, always wanting to create something. And it seems that he already had it in his DNA. Like he's an entrepreneur, so he's always looking for opportunities, always coming up with ideas. And like Miguel said, he can kind of transform something, like disrupt. For example, the next question, the spin brush. It's a simple lollipop. Candies have been around for years and years and years and years, and nothing really has changed. It's a piece of candy on a stick, right? And what this guy did is said, hey, let's get the simple thing, change something small, and I can't believe he made that much money with candy, right? Just by making the making the stick spin made the whole difference. So is the spin brush a good idea? I think yes. If he made that much money, it was a good idea.
Yeah, because the spin brush definitely came from the spin pop. Because he pretty much did the spin brush off that same idea of like, well, I can do the same thing that these bigger companies are doing, but I could probably do it at a cheaper cost. Which obviously to consumers is just like a no-brainer. Why would I not do this kind of a thing?
It seems like a no-brainer. Like, I think in general, a lot of times we think about people that become millionaires with something so simple, and we're like, how come I didn't think about that, right? But I guess there's a process and there's a mindset. So he had that mindset. I guess the question is asking, how does John evaluate opportunities? As we see opportunities in our daily life, but we don't see them on the same way that he does. I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
I think he looks for, because most of us think opportunity like, oh, here's a solution that needs to get solved, but instead he says, he kind of has that mindset of how can I make it better? What can I improve about it? What can I do that would be more appealing to the consumer, kind of a thing. And so I think that's how he evaluates opportunities, is basically by looking at something that's, like you said, simple, but yet would completely change the game and pretty much change the way the product is looked at. What do you think, Miguel?
Yeah, I think that also his preparation was different, or well, he just not has the ideas, but also he has the skills. Because sometimes I think that when we think in any idea, we can come up with something very interesting, but we don't have sometimes about technology or cost or something like that, and maybe we just let it go, and we don't put this attention that he had, because he had the experience, he had the knowledge, he still was learning and preparing himself, and now I think that he has enough resources to produce or design specific products, and that's how he evaluates these opportunities, because he has the experience, but also he has the skills, and he's prepared to put in practice all or become or put these his ideas make them became true, or make them to come to this world, something like that.
Now, I was once told by one of my professors, like, an idea is pretty much worthless because everyone has ideas, right? We can all, like you said,
Yes.
Miguel, we can all have an idea, but then you need certain skills, then you need to do certain things to make that idea into a reality. And I guess that's where we all get stuck. Like, we can all have good ideas. Like, we could probably think about the same things, spin a stick on a piece of candy, but
Yeah.
sometimes we're afraid of actually doing something about it, right? Or we just don't have the mindset that we want to get into stuff like that. We just let it go and be like, it's not that important.
Yeah. Yeah. So why? Because the spin brush, obviously selling 6,000 plus units a day, kind of a thing, huge. Why do you think larger companies haven't already done a spin brush?
I got three reasons. The first one, because people prefer the traditional way. I think that because it's easier and also less expensive. Secondly, because for those brands that produce this kind of brushes, the cost is higher, and also they need specialized engineering in order to build them up. And third, because they have already 232 million SKUs that represent 545 million at retail that they could not sell if electric toothbrushes enter in the market. Those are my reasons.
Okay. Yeah, well, kind of along that, I think the main reason why larger companies haven't already done a spin brush, basically a discounted power toothbrush, is because, first of all, people are already paying the high price, so why change it? Why go for a lower price point when people are already willing to spend the high money for it, kind of a thing? Rather than innovating, they'd rather just take the money. And their margins are ridiculously high. Like in the reports have shown, Gillette had like 40% margin on top of what it was already selling at retail and things like that. So they definitely could have made it cheaper, but they just didn't want to. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then another one is, I'm sure they had the technology to do it and everything like that, but they'd rather maintain their market share and the price point of the product rather than having to take a hit to just try and please the consumers. They'd rather please their board of directors, whoever was holding the markets of the company, that shares the company.
I agree with that. Sorry, guys, I didn't hear everything, but I agree with that. I think it would come down also to competition. So
Mhm.
no one is producing a toothbrush or a spin brush at that price. So if in a perfect world, like they have the market share, they're at top of the food chain. Why would they create something if everything's rolling out perfectly? They're selling toothbrushes for over $50, right? I made some calculations. I'm not sure if they're right. I'm not that good at math on the paper, but when they were selling this toothbrush for $50. They're making around $7 a toothbrush, and just by selling the $8, $6 toothbrush, they only make a little bit about $2 per toothbrush. So if you think about it, they're selling 50 million or more toothbrushes, $7 a toothbrush. That sounds a lot better than selling, I don't know, even if it's just a million for a profit of $2, right?
Right.
So they haven't had the necessity to come up with something like that because they own the market. Now with Dr. John's coming into the market and kind of disrupting and saying, hey, there is a market of people that don't want to spend $50. They want to spend $8. And I'm not making, or they want to spend $6, $5, I think it was. Maybe I'm not making $7. Maybe I'm just making $2, but I'm selling 6,000 a day. Then you create your own market share, and you start getting the big guys to worry and saying, hey, we didn't think about that. Maybe we should get into that.
Right.
An idea of how much it's worth, like spin brush, or how could we place a value on a company like that?
Honestly, I wasn't sure on how to answer that one, kind of thing. I did some math, but I don't know if it was correct or anything like that. Pretty much basically going off of what the market share was and how much revenue he was making, everything like that. The spin brush at that point, the end quarter of 1999 or the end of 1999 was worth about $461,400. and that was just based because they had a 0.2% market share out of all of it. And if you take
Exactly.
0.2% of the 230.8 million that the whole industry was making in the power toothbrush, it comes out to the $461,400. So at that point, it was worth that. But you can't base a company's value off of just what it currently is at. It's kind of like you got to take into, okay, can this continue to grow? Is this going to escalate exponentially, or is this going to go up just a couple times and then stagnate out? And so that was kind of hard for me to figure out how to actually price or value the company itself.
I agree. It's kind of complicated. You have to take into consideration different factors, right? Not only the market share, how much they're selling, because just for what they're selling a year, 6,000 toothbrushes a day, making $2 each. I mean, that's a lot more than 400 and something or $500,000, and that's in 1 year, right? Just in sales.
Right,
And then
right.
how many people did they even have? They had like maybe 4 people working really, and then they manufactured in China, got 30 days.
Yeah.
They have 30 days to pay, like they have credit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's hard to put a valuation into that. There's a lot of factors you need to put into that. But and then the other thing is that they might have 0.2% market share, but it also mentioned gain 15% market share, if I'm right. Or I think I read something that said that they could go up to about 15% market share. I'm not sure.
I don't know about that. I did some math kind of like
Yeah.
predicting, kind of like a projected, like if they were to maintain even on the regular 6,000 a day, which most of the sales they're doing, it's not consumer sales. It's company sales like Walmart, Target, things like that. So they're not small orders of 6,000 a day. It's more like we want 1 million of your toothbrushes, depending upon what our consumers are basically buying. So I think it's safe to assume that he could easily do 6,000 for another year, and gaining market share. And if he did that, I was doing some calculations and I was showing that by doing 6,000 a day, within a year he would gain something like 4.7 or 4.8% of the market share, which would then evaluate the company at around $10 million. And then after that, the other thing to pull in is each company, the power toothbrush companies, they always have the replaceable heads. And so every 3 or 6 months, you've got new brush heads that people are buying anyways. And Dr. John's product was a 3-month. He was basing it off of 3 months. So the toothbrush alone, he was selling 6,000 units a day. Then you take into factor a year or two, or even 3 or 4 months after those sales happen. Now you've got toothbrush headset replacements coming into sales as well. And what that would factor into, or how much that would increase the value of the company as well.
Did this toothbrush have a replacement head, or is it just a whole toothbrush? I wasn't clear on that.
I'm not sure either. I know it. He was mentioning that he wanted to basically have it be replaced every 3 months because that was kind of like one of his stretch goals or whatever for the product. Look into that.
I don't know if it mentioned it, but it showed a couple images at the end on the what do you call them? I don't know, at the end of the case. So I don't know if you could actually detach, put a new head, or just after 3 months it's just disposable. $6, still cheaper than what everyone else was selling, right? So I mean, you're right. They're selling 6,000 for 3 months. You're gonna add all the people that are buying a new one just to replace the other 6,000 people that they bought. So after 3 months, you could say you'd probably be selling over 10,000 a day.
Yeah.
It'd be safe to say that.
Yeah. Plus, looking on here, like the companies like Gillette who had the Braun and everything, their selling price per replacement brush was $6 anyways. So even if he's selling the brush and not replacement heads, he's already selling the brush for about $6 to $7 anyways. So he's selling the brush for the price of a replacement head anyway. So that would be probably more appealing to people rather than buying a $6 brush head. They'd actually buy a brand new toothbrush.
I agree. I think I would do that.
Yeah.
So what should John do? Do you have is there a timer on your screen, Cameron?
No, I don't have a timer on here.
Just to figure out, like, I guess timestamp. It says here that we should timestamp when
I have here that it's 39 minutes and running.
Oh,
okay.
you see that, Miguel?
Yes, in the chat, I got here calling 39
Since we recorded?
minutes. Yeah.
Okay.
All
If
right,
not,
so
I'll
just
just
put
go on the YouTube video of it and go until we talked about this.
okay. So what should John do? What do you think, Miguel?
Well, I got here that he must focus in the distribution channels, which for me will be the most challenging because he will need to make this product available to all the customers. No matter if you are in a village, in a city, in a small town, or in a big city, you can access or you can get this product in order that he succeed and compete with the rest of the brands. So I think that he will need to make an strategic alliance with Walmart or Costco or one of these great chains that can move products from city to city or even internationally in other countries in order that he could succeed and complete all his goals of sales.
Yeah. I mean, most of the kids, they talked about how they had those chains and connections. They hired that one guy, can't remember his name, but he pretty much like did $1 billion in sales for Walmart or with another company for Walmart, and they kind of hired him to basically take care of that. So I think they're moving in that direction. Personally, for what I said John should do is I said he should try and license it to a big corporation, either Procter and Gamble, and if Procter and Gamble says no, go to Colgate, and then pretty much make a company that just does innovations, finds the niche markets or goes and finds out little exploits in other industries, and pretty much just has a business that creates new products, gets them going, gets them built up, and then eventually goes and licenses them out to other companies or the big competitors. The reason I chose Procter and Gamble and Colgate, Procter and Gamble is the first one he's already going to do a licensing deal with. That's mentioned in the case. So, but if they say no, to go with Colgate would be a smart decision because they have the largest market share in both the toothpaste and the manual toothbrush industry, but they have nothing in the power toothbrush. So they have a huge swing in both the toothbrush and manual toothbrush that would probably help him move his product faster, gain better market share, and probably better distribution channels as well as a decreased manufacturing cost. That's not guaranteed depending on where he's manufacturing all that stuff, but usually bigger companies can produce more units for a cheaper cost. So potentially it could provide more profit for Colgate or Procter and Gamble depending upon how it's manufactured, things like that. But that's what I suggested that John should do is license out the company or license out the product and build a company based on innovating ideas or innovating products in industries.
That's what I suggested too. For some reason, I didn't think he was going to sell this time. It seems like all the other companies he sold, but the case mentioned the mistakes that he had made in the past with other companies, and that he was trying not to do those this time. So I got the idea or the impression that he was gonna be into this for the long run, right? Don't just make it profitable and then sell. This time he wants to take it further. So going with Procter and Gamble, I think it was a good idea. Get their brand, their distribution, instead of having to compete with them. Because, I mean, with the money that a company like Procter and Gamble has, and the ability to create new things, they could easily come up with a new brush and kind of take over the market because they have better distribution, brand awareness, all that kind of stuff. So I think it would be wise to kind of join efforts and just kind of go out from there. Yeah, that's pretty much what I said.
Yeah. And going off what you said about not selling the company, to me it was just like, I don't. He might sell the company, but I don't think it'd be a smart move for him. Because in the case it showed, every time he sold a company, he always jumped back in and started doing another product or company. And so this way, kind of this person was to pretty much keep him in something he could be doing, while also giving the freedom if he wanted to. He could go and do like vacations and not work for a while, and then come back to business where he can just innovate products and basically just out all day.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So
You got your mic muted, Sam.
sorry. So next question is, how do you analyze a case?
I went through the instructions that I gave, reading the first introduction, scrolling all the way down to the bottom where the decision is, and kind of going through and asking myself, okay, what do I need to understand? A bunch of questions that I didn't include into the writing or whatever, just to kind of get a better idea of what the situation was, what the real decision was that needed to be made, things like that. And I've never done a case study like that. This is the first time. Most of the time I just read through the whole long document and you're like, I'm just going to type something. But after going through that, it was like actually invigorating to kind of figure out, okay, how can I figure this out? How can I piece this together and everything? And it was a really good learning opportunity for me.
Miguel, what do you think?
I agree with Cameron. I just think I just focus more in the background, trying to understand the achievements or the interest of different in each case in order to understand what are the motivation or what are the most interesting in order to come up with ideas or try to thinking what should I do if I were this person.
Uh-huh.
You got your mic muted again, Sam.
Sorry about that. I'm on the phone and I can't tell if it's on or off. But I agree with you, Miguel. I guess if we just like trying to put yourself on their shoes, right? Try to understand what the purpose of everything is, why they're doing it, what they've done in the past, and there is a couple of hints in the case that could steer you towards a specific answer, right? He had sold all his companies. He didn't want to do the same mistakes he had done before. Like you said, Cameron, he hired this guy that had connections with Walmart and had sold billions. So in a sense, that was telling us that he wanted to sell billions, right? He wanted to build this company to that point. So I did the same thing. It said there, you read the first part, then go all the way to the end of it, read it, think about it for a little, and then I did go through all of it and read try to get all the details, kind of highlighted some specific things that I thought would be important at the end to analyze, numbers and stuff like that. So that's pretty much how I did it.
Yeah.
Great.
Let's see here. So write a question that you learned to ask an entrepreneur. So this reminded me of this professor. Like I used to have, I had when I was doing my associate's degree in an entrepreneurship class, and he was an entrepreneur, and he would always go like, he would kind of close his eyes and kind of wink, and he would say, "What's missing? What's missing?" He would always look at everything around him and ask that question, "What's missing? What's missing?" And I guess that gives you a perspective, right? The same thing as Osher. Okay, so there's a lollipop, there's a toothbrush that costs $50. Or what's missing? What can I do to make this better? What's missing here? So that would be my question, you know? As you go through life, you can always ask yourself that question. What's missing?
A really good question. I don't know. The question I'd ask as an entrepreneur probably would be, I mean, in one of the other classes talking about a lean startup, and pretty much like before you actually go to manufacturing with the product, all that kind of stuff, you go out first, propose what your product would be, or show a prototype to like consumers and say, what do you think about it? What did you like? What didn't you like? Kind of like to get a good array of like people who would actually buy it before it's even produced. And for me, like the question I'd ask is, do the customers want this? Like, how can I know that the customers will want this or will buy this kind of a thing? And then kind of go out and do that. Like, interview a bunch of people, get statistics, get data before I even go into production. And I think he did that too by asking probably the same question, like, what's missing or what can be improved? What about you, Miguel?
Yes, mine, it will be similar. I think that it will be why the customers will prefer my product among the others, or among the five favorite products that they are currently using. Why does the customer will prefer mine and not the others? I don't know if maybe the price, the quality, the design, or simply just the colors. So I think that I would like to ask, so why does, or what is like the most critical in this decision that makes the customer go to one business or another one, or call to one service or another? So I think that it's similar. Why does customers will prefer my product?
Yeah, it's really good.
Great.
All right.
Oof.
Anything else anyone wants to add?
No, I think we're good. We have two case studies this week, right?
We got screwed.
Yeah, we have Dropbox, and we have another one, something about renting dresses or something like that.
For this week?
Yeah.
Wow.
I thought we
I
just
know.
had this one.
So, I guess we can stay in touch through chat on Gmail,
Yep.
just to coordinate. We might have to meet twice this week. I don't know how that will be possible, but
Okay.
what are the
I see.
best?
I thought this week, like by Monday. Yeah. This upcoming. Yeah.
Yeah, like tomorrow. So
Yeah.
it should be. I guess we could still do this. I think week 3 is when he's gonna assign the actual teams. If I read right, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
So I think for what I saw, I guess you could stop the recording if you want to.
Okay.